So we're interviewing Lu Meier today, and what is exciting about that is she is a first-time capper here at Keller Williams Success Realty, and we decided we'd ask some questions and kind of talk about your journey, how you got here, what's next, just to inspire others who want to get to capping status and also who are thinking about getting into real estate. So first off, let me just say what capping is, so when people understand some of our terms. When you join the office, you have to pay into a certain amount, and once you've paid into that amount, you get 100% of your commission. So it's kind of what everybody goals for every single year, is to get to that 100%. And she just did that back in January, and so now anything until her month rolls over, she gets 100%. So it's a big milestone, especially when it's the first time for any new agent. So welcome, Lu.
Thank you.
All right, so first off, want to just do a little bit of background about you, what you did before real estate, and what made you leave that and go into real estate.
Sure. So real estate is my second career. I spent 30 years in corporate, almost all in marketing functions. I think I've done every marketing function, most recently in an marketing operations role, always high tech. I was extremely burned out. So about 2 years ago, was having a conversation with my life partner and just said, I'm not sure where to go, what direction, and I felt kind of like a brat because I was making good money, but I was dead inside.
Right.
So about 6 weeks after that, I kind of got a kick in the pants because I got laid off.
Oh, okay.
And the next day, I was in real estate class because when we had that conversation in December, my partner challenged me, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I've always thought about real estate, and at the time I was thinking about it as a side hustle. Mm-hmm. But then I got my license, the more I started learning, and I said, nope, I'm going all in on this. This is what I want to do.
Right. That's awesome. Well, sounds like the universe helped you
Yes.
and answered your question.
Exactly.
For
You got to read those.
Yes.
Read those signs.
Exactly. It's like, oh, you're thinking about changing?
Yep.
Well, we're going to help you. We're going to help you with that. Okay. So, how was reality different from your expectation of real estate going in?
Okay, so how reality was different. I have always been just a very hardworking, positive person, and when I got into real estate, I heard a lot of people talking about mindset over and over, and I kept brushing that aside, thinking, not me, not positive me, I can do this, I'm a hard worker. And found early on a lot of it is about mindset.
Yep.
And really needing to have a plan on how you're dealing with your mindset and moving forward that way.
Nice. I love that. Well, I think that anybody who initially gets into real estate, so Angela and I always have like a little joke that I feel like sometimes I have to be a dream squasher, because people think that it's gonna be so easy, and the minute you get your license, that there's all these people lined up at the door ready to buy and sell. But it's not like that. Not like that for most people. It's a lot of hard work.
Yep.
And you really have to understand that you're gonna put a lot of work into it, but if you do, you're going to come out the other side, and then it's never going to be easy, but it's going to be more consistent because of what you've done. But it's that initial thing that myself as a coach kind of have to do. And Angela always kids, she's like, dream squashing. I'm like, yeah.
For sure. Well, I think we live in a culture of instant gratification.
Yes.
And real estate is not that.
No.
It's a lot of work put in up front before
Right.
you even get any of the exciting things
And
coming.
it's hard because we always say anything you do is 3 to 6 months from now. And so it's not like I just showed this house, hand me some money. You have to go, and it's a long process, and can be longer than that. So that is an initial commitment that people have to know going in, and that's hard. That's hard to do.
Sure.
So yeah, awesome. All right. So capping isn't just a math equation, just getting to that amount. At what point in the last 18 months did you stop hoping you'd cap and started knowing that you would?
When did it happen? Oh, well, that's kind of interesting because it was early or late summer, early fall, where I could see it, I could taste it. It was right there. But I kind of went into a panic mode because my pipeline was really weak. And so it was this balance of the emotion of being so excited that it was right there and how could I get there? And then, like in a matter of days, I went from nothing to having potentially 7 transactions happening in Q4. So I was like,
how did that go though? How did you go from 0 to 7?
It was all the previous work that I had done. So all of a sudden people started changing their minds, you know, boom, an opportunity popped up. But then what happened is those 7, bloop, 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 all went away.
Yep.
But then a new one came in, and that's what ultimately got me to January capping.
Right.
Yep. So it's that, you know, I'm still looking forward to when I get it more stabilized, which is my word for the year this year.
Yes.
But, yep.
And I think that stability is always a challenge in real estate because life happens and you get busy. And the biggest thing is, and I know people in the room, when we get busy with different deals, all of a sudden our lead generation stops. And then that deal ends and we don't have another deal and have things going along that way. So yeah, you can come in. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Just grab a chair. So yeah, you can continue. You need to continue the momentum and the stability and know that some of the things which we'll talk about in a couple minutes, your systems, the way that you do everything, is the backbone of your business, that when you're at your busiest point is when you actually need to do your most lead generating, because you need to keep that momentum going. And when we get busy, some of the things that got us to that point are the things that we stop doing. Maybe we stop posting as often. Maybe we stop making our calls. Maybe we're like, oh, we don't have time for the door knocking, or I can't get to that because I'm so busy. Well, those are the things that got you busy. Yep. So it's working on that. I love that. All right. Any questions from anybody so far? You can always shout out or let me know as we kind of get into some of the models and systems here. All right. So we all have those Tuesdays where the phone feels like it weighs 500 pounds. When you aren't feeling motivated, what do you say to yourself or do to get out of bed, get to your desk, and get things going?
Yeah, well, first of all, I would say I don't rely on motivation because motivation is emotional and it comes and it goes. So what I have really found is I need to rely on the consistency and the routine. For anybody that's a Mel Robbins fan, the 5-second rule for sure works. And when I was thinking about this interview, I was thinking 5 keeps popping up a lot, so maybe that's my number, because the 5-second rule, so it's, you know, I count back 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just go, pick up the phone, do it.
Yep.
If I'm having one of those days where I feel like I can't even have a conversation with someone, I still do 5. What I try to do is 5 direct messages online, 5 responses to social posts, write out 5 cards to somebody, send 5 texts. And then usually by that point, I'm okay to pick up the phone and try to make 5 calls.
I love that. I love that. I think that anything that can help get you over, but what you're also talking about is the muscle memory in your mind and in your body. That once you get past that point, it's just muscle memory and your body's already knowing what it's doing because these are the systems. This is what you've already been telling yourself. And your mind likes to try to get you off of what you want to do, talk you out of some of those things.
Sure.
Like, well, maybe you don't have to do that today, or maybe this, or maybe that, but you have to be like, nope, you're just trying to get me off of it. I'm going to do this. I mean, similar to going to the gym or something like that. Like, well, you know, if you would go tomorrow, or maybe you can go later, and it tries to talk you out of it. But if you push through that, then you have that. So
and it seems like as soon as you take an action too, you know, and then you get a response, someone responds by text, and all of a sudden that mood elevation goes up. So
Yeah.
it continues to
Right.
build.
You get a couple positive responses, and then you're like, okay, this is encouraging. But we all know that there are some negative responses or no responses, but we're never attached to the outcome, and that's really the biggest thing. And I would say the hardest mindset for myself for coaching people is that you can't be attached to the outcome. You can text 100 people and have 100 people not say anything, and then the next month you text those same 150 people reply. You don't know. You just don't know, and you can sit there and you can try to predict the outcome of every one of those people and say, oh, well, I'm going to text Jackie. I hope Jackie's going to read my text. I don't know. Is Jackie going to reply? Maybe Jackie's busy. I think she works during the day, so she might not see it. Does she have her phone when she's at work?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not going to bother Jackie. And then all of a sudden we don't even contact them.
That's it.
And it's like, let Jackie decide if she wants to have that interaction. And also, Jackie might look at it and go, oh, okay, Heather, all right, I'm going to text her later, and then forget. And that's just the way our lives are. And then we move on, and my name moves down in the chain of people that Jackie has. But then when I text her again and say, oh, hey, Jackie, and reach out again, then she goes, oh, right, I forgot. I was going to text her and was gonna say that. The number of times that I have reached out to somebody and then with Happy Thanksgiving or something like that, and their response back is, I'm so glad that you reached out. I've been meaning to whatever.
Right.
And it's like it inspires them to do that. But if you don't make that first step, they might never.
Yep.
So that's definitely the consistency of it. And people start to get used to, Lou texts and calls me.
Yep.
I know she does. And that's okay.
Yep.
And I know when I'm ready or I have somebody for her, that I'm going to have that conversation. So I love that. So what was a story you used to tell yourself about real estate that is now completely false?
Oh, I think we kind of touched on it before. I think that people think it's a lot easier than it is. You're absolutely putting the work in. People, it's certainly starting out, people are not picking up the phone, calling you. It is all you doing the outward actions.
And ultimately, you're setting up a business. Mm-hmm. You are starting a business from zero.
Yep.
Even though it is a type of business that many people have created, you're starting off at zero. So you are your own accountant. You are your own marketing person. You are, you're doing social media where you maybe never had done that before. And you're also trying to learn how to be a real estate agent and all the things that come with that, all the systems, all the tools, and then also how to meet people, help people, all of that. That's a lot. That's a lot for one person to take on. It doesn't matter who you are, it's a lot to get going. But all of those things don't matter if you don't have the people. You can have all the best systems, you can be the most prepared real estate agent sitting here in an office, but if you don't have the people, there's nothing we can do. So, you know, a lot of times we say the work teaches you. You have to have a couple of the foundations, of course, but the work teaches you. Once you get into the work, then you're like, oh, this came up, that came up, this came up, and then that kind of help teaches you. All right, so success leaves clues. And walk us through what obstacles you face in your schedule and what are some of your non-negotiables that you do? Kind of what are some of the things in your week that you do or your day?
Yeah, so I would say I've made huge adjustments, and my schedule was an obstacle for me.
Right.
You know, we'll go back, you know, earlier last year. So
let's stop at earlier last year, because this time last year, and I know I've told a couple of people in this room that you said to me, what, this time last year?
I was going to quit. I was going to go back to corporate, and it was like making me sick to think about, but I was like, well, I don't know why I can do this.
Right.
And it was all the hats. You know, I wasn't seeing the outcomes based on the effort I felt that I was putting in. But what I was also doing was, again, coming out of corporate, I liked the freedom of having my own business, but along with that, I was free-forming each day. So, I would start my day, doing my tasks. I would keep going back to what was comfortable for me, which was marketing. So I, had a great marketing plan. I was executing my marketing, but I wasn't getting my conversations in. I wasn't doing, my prospecting. And, I would tell myself every morning that I was going to do that, but I would push it. And then all of a sudden 3 o'clock came around. I was like, well,
it's too late now.
I don't have the strength to do it now, right? Now I'm too tired. So really the adjustment that I made, pretty soon after that, and you had pushed me also to, maybe start coming in the office for, 2-hour lead gen time. I tried that for a little bit. That didn't really work for me. But then what ultimately worked for me is I found lead gen with community. And that's really been able to stick with me. So what does that mean? And it sounded crazy to me, but it works for whatever reason. So lead gen with community is from 9 to 11 every day. I log in to a Zoom call, and there's a whole bunch of us agents sitting on there. We take 5 to 10 minutes at the very beginning. Everyone talks about who they're making their calls to or what their lead gen is looking like for that day. Then everyone goes on mute, and then so you're sitting, and I know this is where it sounds weird, you're sitting on a Zoom call where no one's talking, and you look up and you just see people working, but there's something about having that on the calendar, and that accountability lead gen with community has really helped.
Right.
So it was me going from free form, really not having a schedule, just kind of in my head what I wanted to accomplish the next day, to now my mornings are very, very routine. It is the same every single day. It's you get up at 4, you go work out at 6.
Right.
I do my, my inspiration call at 7. I do my senior call at 8. I do lead gen from 9 to 11, period. Non-negotiables. That's what I do.
I think that truly was the biggest shift last year for you, and it's from, I'll always take that from James Shaw, where if you wake up, wonder, and wander, half your day's gone. Mm-hmm. If you don't have that set ahead of time. So putting that in your schedule, having that in there. And I know for you, like even when we were planning this interview, I was like, when is your lead gen time? I want to make sure that it's after that, and that you're protecting that time, because I know that that's important to you. But that is, I'd say one of the most common things that I hear is I don't have time, or I don't block it. And even if you may have a full-time job, you can still block that at night on weekends. Mm-hmm. I had one agent, her most successful time lead genning was Sunday mornings, because she was busy all week, but all of her mom friends and everybody, like all the games were Saturday, but Sunday mornings, like late Sunday morning, she could get a hold of everybody. And she's like, this is when I know, this is when I talk to everybody all week, even if I can't get to anything else, like having that time and blocking at that.
Yeah, and another learning for me around that too was, I have like a client first mindset. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of driving my behavior though, where I thought client first meant like, okay, when I get up in the next morning, if I had, an open action item from the day before, I was feeling like I had to do that, right away in the morning. And I've really shifted that too, where all my client work, my client communications, all that's happening in the afternoon. So I'm even starting now when I'm first engaging with clients, and we're talking about the process, how we're going to work together and everything. I don't even tell them that I work in the morning. Like my hours are from noon to 7. That's where you can reach me. Go ahead, text me anytime, but you're not going to hear from me in the morning. And then, and I do get the client texts in the morning now, but I just really ignore those because it's so easy to go down the rabbit hole
to pull off the task.
Exactly. So that that morning is for no one else but me, and I have to stay focused on it.
Right, totally. I love that. Any questions, comments about her process at all? Anybody? All right, cool. So what are some of the Keller Williams models or frameworks that you lean into, other than obviously the doing that call, which I know is led by a Keller Williams. Is she a team leader? I can't remember who she.
My community.
Yeah.
I don't even know that she's with Keller Williams.
Oh, she isn't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah.
she was. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's-
she must be because
there-
she was in that. She was in that thing that we were in.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like she was at that whatever.
I don't know who I'm on the call with, but it works.
Right, when we went to that one last spring, yeah, who that was. But is there like a model or a checklist or anything that you kind of go through? Like, so I guess it's more, yes, you're calling people, but just so people understand, like, how do you decide who, decide when, decide what you're saying each day, all the time, that type of thing?
Well, I mean, I definitely, I read, and now in the car I play the MRE real estate agent. So, that's your playbook for everything, tells you exactly what you need to do. And I feel like also, like, when you receive messages and when you actually implement or execute, something changes. So, like, things I've heard over and over and over, and I think, oh, that's a great idea, I want to do that. Don't necessarily do it.
Yep.
Because sometimes the timing just isn't right. But in terms of systems, so last year, if you've heard of DTD2, that's Do Your Database 2. So there's a schedule based on last names of when you call people, and those are more, your care calls. These are people in your sphere, your touch and base, just seeing what's going on in their life, and everybody's gonna, ask you about real estate if they know that you're in real estate, and if they don't, that's your opportunity to let them know that you are. So that's one of the systems. The GPS, the 411, I utilize those. As you know, my GPS last year was pretty intense, very complex.
Right.
There's a lot that I wanted to do, so that for sure is a learning, is just, you got to scale that
simpler.
way back.
Yep.
Yeah, just, super simple, what works for you, and then just do it. Keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. Even if you feel like it's not working, keep doing it, because it will work. Everything in that book has been, already implemented and proven successful. So it's just you implementing that.
And I would say, just even from talking with you, that if you can share some of the surprising things from calling. I know one of them in that time frame was some of the myths. Didn't think people were available, didn't think people were always going to answer, felt like some people might be upset you were calling. What were some of those things that were in your head or in a lot of people's head when you think about making those calls like that?
Yeah, that's crazy because they still go through my head, so I don't know if that's just eventually over time that will go away, but honestly, reaching out to your sphere should be everybody's number one activity. Yep. And I went back and looked at my numbers. So of all my opportunities, where are they breaking down? And 40% of them are directly from my sphere. And then there's another like 12% from that are sphere referrals. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, why do I spend so much time chasing, strangers, yes. Yep. Like, but it's like a mindset thing that I'm still trying to overcome. So back to like, talking to your sphere, these people like you. They will talk to you. Nobody's going to be rude to you. And if, they don't have time, they simply tell you, I don't have time to talk to you.
Right.
So, but we're in our own way. And like, it's all just in your head. Just take the action. And that's the best I can give is just take the action, because all that head stuff goes away. Yep.
Totally. Okay. So how did, from your perspective, how did having a coach impact your mindset, confidence, thinking bigger, handling problems? Yeah,
well, I think you have been so helpful in terms of getting me out of my head, and I'm an overthinker. I know a lot of us women are, so overthinking. I'm also learning, and I feel like this is also corporate days. Like, we would iterate on anything before it went out the door.
Right.
And when you're in your own business, when you're in real estate, people are not looking at it that close. If you're 80% there, go.
Right.
Get it out the door and just move on. Quit thinking it over and over. I don't know, every conversation we have, I feel like I'm like, seems so simple, but it's so helpful to have a coach look in on what you're doing, listen to you, and then we've all got blind spots. So
Right.
pointing out, what is so simple that we should be doing. So for example, I'm really leaning into now the senior space because I'm, a Gen Xer, all of my friends, everyone in my sphere, we're dealing with, thinking about retirement at some point in our lives, but our parents are aging. And it, is the daughters of our parents that are helping them make decisions in terms of their next moves. So I've really started leaning into the senior space. I've joined some networking groups, and in my head it was, okay, I need to build this team of resources. So I'm like a concierge for my clients to, give them resources. But Heather challenged me and said, okay, of all these calls that you're sitting on, are you taking down these agents' names and following up with them? Because, that's a referral opportunity for, my friends in Massachusetts now that have somebody that's, needing to relocate their parents back to Chicago to be closer to family. Do I have that, referral-based connection?
Right.
And, then the people that I'm meeting in continuity of care, for example, Heather's like, are you scheduling, one-on-one coffees? So you get in relationship with those people too as a referral base.
Right.
So that's where coaching has helped me a lot, because I was so I just need to build up this team of resources. Well, guess what? There's all these other opportunities on how you can one-up it.
Right, and how you can, I like to say passive income, where if you are able to refer somebody or somebody's referring to you, that's just time you're putting in, that's not money. And you're referring people out, and you do become someone that your sphere, your community, all of that looks to as, hey, she knows, and she might know somebody that I need wherever. Then that becomes passive income for you, because you can refer them, you can help them out, you can guide them to another good person, and then you get some referral feedback from that, and so it's helping you that way. But really, it just grounds you more in that space as that authority and that trusted person with all of that. So I think that everybody should have a direction of something that you lean into. I want to say like a theme in a way, but an area that you really like, because then that will form the social media, who you talk to, all of that, and then just help you establish that. It's very hard to be jack of all trades and be great at everything and know everything about everything, but if you really can say, you know what, I'm going to focus on luxury, or I'm going to focus on military families, whatever that might be, and then that becomes where you put your heart, your passion, and all of that into, and can kind of build on through that.
Right.
I want to say too, when we talk about when there have been times that you've struggled, because everybody struggles, and we talk through some of those, or even this time last year, when we talked about that, it is so hard to see the forest through the trees of and for myself also, I have a coach. It's hard to see beyond where we are, and having somebody who can guide you along and say, okay, I love what you're doing here, but what if you did this, and what if you did that, and making those small tweaks and just improving your play. Because I always go back to the Michael Jordan analogy. Michael Jordan was a great basketball player and had natural ability, but he also had a lot of coaches that helped that natural ability go to stratosphere ability. And those coaches absolutely were not as good a players as him, or maybe even played basketball, but they could look at it and say, what about this, what about that, try this, try that. And that's how we grow and we improve. When we only have ourselves, we are just in our own head. And that's when we start to limit, and that's when we start to shrink ourselves, because we start to be like, well, I can't handle that. Nope, that's not. But when somebody's pushing us and saying, how about a little more? So what would you say your relationship is with accountability? What is your mindset around accountability and I know we've had these discussions where you're going out of town, or you have other things, and also not only how you hold yourself accountable, but how you hold other people in your life accountable to what you need and what you know is going to be successful?
Yeah, I think I'm just naturally a highly accountable person, but yes, being in business for myself and in real estate, it takes it to a whole nother level. So coaching absolutely helps. When we discuss something and we say, okay, for the next 2 weeks, you're going to get this done. Well, nobody wants to show up at their coaching call like, oh, I didn't do it. So,
Right.
it might be the night before, but it gets done.
Right, totally.
Yeah, and, accountability, like in my personal life, I would say that's more boundaries. So that was also something that definitely needed attention in my life. So, and I worked from home pretty much my whole career, at least part-time. So when I got into real estate, I did not think that there was going to be anything different.
Right.
But for whatever reason, people think real estate agents are not working all day long, or that
Yeah.
you're in business for yourself so that you have full flexibility to go do whatever, whenever. And so, yes, definitely with friends and family, it was very much just having direct conversations about my boundaries. And even, Ray, my partner, it was funny because, he would always text me in the morning between 9 and 11. and he calls it lead-gen time. I'm like, no, it's lead-gen. Do not bother me during lead-gen time. But he calls it lead-gen time. Not going to touch you during lead-gen time. But yeah, so that's like accountability to myself. Like
Right.
this is my plan for the day. So everybody, needs to respect that.
Right.
And then, the other thing too about accountability is, and this is something I think that through coaching I discovered also, is, I was thinking about all these things that I was doing or going to do, and are you being honest with yourself? Are you being accountable to actually doing those things? Or, like the thoughts, or even like what are the people who are thinking of me, because I've built my whole messaging platform in my head, but am I really pushing that out? Do people know that and understand that about me?
Right.
And is that happening? So getting out of my head and actually taking action on everything that's going on.
And I know we've even talked about taking action, and did you take a little bit of action, or did you fully commit to whatever that was?
Mm-hmm.
And just dipping your toe into a lot of different things doesn't get you the same result as going all in on one thing, or doing, really saying, yep, I feel really good about this system's going, that's the way it's going. Do you feel like now that you've kind of put a lot of these systems in place in the background, all of that, that if you do go on vacation or you got sick or had an injury, that your business and some of those systems are still rolling in the background?
Yes. I mean, I'm not where I want to be, but
Right.
there's definitely been improvement there where, yes, I know that the systems are in place so
Right.
that you can take a step back.
Right, and that definitely was something maybe a year ago we didn't feel like
Right.
you want to go to Florida or whatever, and you're like,
Right.
I can't leave all this because I'm the only one doing it. So really getting the systems in place and having those things going out, things doing,
Yep.
that the business is still lead generating for you, even if you're step out of it.
Yep.
Yep, awesome. Anybody have any questions for her? No? We're covering everything that you want to hear? All right.
Great.
Awesome. Okay, so what advice would you give not only just a new agent, but maybe an agent who wants to cap, or an agent maybe that used to cap and now needs to kind of turn their business around and cap again? What's some advice you'd give for them? And I put, you can say 5, but I put like 3 habits to focus on.
Okay. So, I mean, and I'm saying this for myself too, your sphere. You have to focus in on that.
80% of any agent's deals come from their sphere or past clients. So, yep.
Yeah, so, and then what I did with that also, so in my database, so in my sphere, I broke it down by, is it, raving fan? Is this somebody who knows me very, very well?
Right.
Friendly acquaintance, so, somebody that I know kind of well, see occasionally.
Right.
And then loose ties. So this would be somebody that just knows me, but maybe we're not in tight relationship there. So I can start messaging to those people differently. So back to your question. So like what three habits?
Yep.
I mean, it's the consistency. Consistency. Doing the same thing, not chasing the shiny object. But okay, here's what my plan is going to be, whether you're planning, monthly or quarterly, this is what I'm going after. Stay focused on that, stay consistent with that. Don't chase the shiny things, stay in front of your sphere. And
I would say even too that there's been different things at the office, or I know that there's been different opportunities, and you have said, that's a great opportunity. I've got to do my lead generating, and really given up a lot for that, and even socially or whatever, like this is my time. We talked about not working every single day, and I feel like we've solved that a little bit, because there was definitely a problem that you felt you were working 7 days a week all the time, and there was no downtime, or there was no time for friends or family or anything like that. And so we talked about Saturdays, that Saturdays is your day, that you aren't doing real estate as much as you can help it, and you're focusing on your family and giving that day to them. So when you set up those boundaries and they're saying, over here, help us, pick us, you can say, great, see you Saturday, like here's when I have that time.
Yeah, so. And I think to that also, that's knowing, what work are you doing? Are you doing work that's going to generate income, or are you keeping busy?
Right.
Because, again, I think last year I was doing a lot of thinking, and I wouldn't even call it busy work, but it's, it is, or let's say the one thing. Is that the one thing that's going to move the needle? Do you really need to be doing that? Or should you, focus your
I'd say your biggest shift is what you're saying is money-making activities versus non-money-making activities. That you were very good at all the non-money-making activities, the setup and all of that, but that was your comfort. That was from your corporate job. I can do this, I can do marketing, I can get all this stuff done. This feels good. And although it is important, it's not the most important thing.
Right.
And shifting and saying, yes, I have that, that's great, but these are the money-making activities that I know I need to do. And really getting after the calls, the open houses, wherever we're getting in front of, talking to people directly, and then having some of those things, but maybe not completely. So I would say that was.
You could lose me in my database all day.
Totally.
Just cleaning that up, tagging it.
Exactly.
No, that's not doing it for you.
Shifting all those things around. Yes. I had somebody recently is like, yep, I'm going to do that. Just as soon as I get through my whole database, I was like, nope. You're not even going to look at that thing. Go to your phone and start making those calls, because that's not. That is, cleaning that up is nice, but it's not going to get you to where you want it to be.
And you can clean it up as you're making the calls.
Yep, totally. All right, so what would you say, just the feeling, once you got to the 100% commission, how has this changed your mindset going forward, way your family looks at you, that type of thing? Like, it was such a goal that you made it. So you made it. Now it's just about consistency to keep doing it. What's the next goal? What's the next thing? How did that feel?
Well, it felt amazing.
Right.
It felt amazing, and we talked about motivation being an emotion. I was certainly feeling that in January. Like, get after it. Because you want to close as many as you can before your year runs out. But how has it changed me? I mean, it's achievable now. Like, early on, when you're looking at that number, it kind of feels like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Well, now it's like, oh my gosh, if I can do it, anybody can do it. We can do this. Just get after it. So, I mean, the goal is to continue to, cap again.
To get it
this year.
faster.
Yep, get it faster.
And then build, right?
Build the momentum, exactly.
Right, but build your team. and what that looks like, and what's that next level. What are some of those non-money making activities that you can give away, right? Can you give away to a transaction manager and let go of some of that? As I look deep into your eyes,
Right.
it's like, can you? And you're like, I saw your entire breath. You saw her whole breath go. Yes, give up some of those things.
Yes.
And be okay with having somebody else help you and giving some of those tasks away so that you can keep continuing on with your number one thing, because as you continue on and keep doing more networking and things like that, that's your number one thing.
Right.
And you're going to get busier in the background as you already are.
Right.
And what's the thing that you're doing at 10 o'clock at night?
Right. Well,
all the paperwork.
I was going to say, well, just last night I was sitting there, on the couch at 9 o'clock at night, entering all my open house leads into Command, and Ray said to me, he's like, "Wow, that would be nice when you have an assistant to do that."
Exactly. Yes. The things that you're up late at night, and that's truly. For anybody who's thinking, how do you get that next step? That's exactly how you do. You figure out what are your non-money making activities that you could train somebody else to do for you and be okay with that. I know myself, I have an assistant, and anytime I catch myself now doing one of those activities, I stop and I record it and I send it to her and I say, now this is yours and you're gonna start doing this. And she's like, okay. But it's hard because you get so used to doing everything, because we all started off that we had to build this whole big business and we're all responsible. But when we give some of those pieces away, what you originally think in your mindset is, I'm giving up control, but what you actually have time for is to do other things you didn't have time for and to make it even bigger.
Yeah.
And now you're like, whoa, now I have this time, I could actually do this, or I could build on this because I'm not doing all of the non-money making activities. And then it starts to get like, hey, this isn't too bad. And then you're okay with it. Yeah. Awesome. Any other questions from the group? No? All right. Yes.
For all the, you either text or call, do you have like a texting system, or do you personally do it yourself?
I was personally doing it myself, and I would continue to do that with my sphere, but working with Heather, I did just finally give in to Twilio, which I'm going to use for my have-not mets in my database. So really start getting some campaigns going out that way where it's really automated leverage, so I'm not spending my time on that because that's, takes much longer to convert than my sphere would.
So we really always say Twilio for your non-Mets, open house people, maybe you're purchasing leads, things like that, but the Reach app for your Mets. And that comes directly from your phone number. Twilio comes from Command. But what's nice about the Reach app is you can have that template in there and you can see what you sent the last time. You can make different groups. So where she talked about different levels of her sphere, that she can have those different groups in the Reach app and send that message targeted to those people. And I mean, you can still put, hi Lou, blah, blah, blah. Like you can still say all of that. And it doesn't just look like it comes from you. It absolutely does. And it doesn't have the unsubscribe stuff at the bottom, because it's really just a tool that you're using to go through your phone. So that's why we say that's for your Mets. For your not Mets, the Twilio, because you can start smart plans, you can do things, and that's the systems that we talked about running in the background that's still targeting, going over, reaching out to those people and basically checking in until they're ready to have a two-way conversation with you. But the Reach app is nice for the mass texting of as simple as, happy Valentine's Day. And you want to send that out 150 times, you make a little post and you send it and you walk away from your phone. And that's a huge time saver rather than copy, paste, and you're sitting there for a couple hours and all you did all day was wish everybody happy Valentine's Day, when could you have done something better? Not that it wasn't important, you wanted to reach out, but just really getting smarter with your time
More
and
efficient.
using that. Yep, more efficient. Yep, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question. Good question. Any others? No? All right.
Sorry, I had a tickle in my throat.
No, you're fine. Did you have any questions for her when you walked away when you were doing some questions? No, that's okay.
No, I don't think so. I love the accountability thing, which is something I need to work on. So.
Yeah.
And consistency. Those are my two biggest problems right now.
We are all in that same boat, for
Oh.
sure, for sure.
So it's good.
Due to my knee, could somebody hand me that present back in the corner? I would limp over, but we don't need that on camera.
Just a video of Heather.
Just video of me trying to go
I do have
to.
a question about it.
Yeah.
You're talking about that, the lead gen community. So what is that?
So, it was through, are you guys familiar with the pivot group in the morning?
The James Shaw Pivot
call?
Shift Ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pivot shift ahead, so.
Pivot Shift Ahead. It's a Facebook group that anyone can join, and that anyone, not just Keller Williams, but anyone can join. And every morning, at least in our time zone at 7 a.m., that they have a 20-minute call about. But then there's also an additional, he has an additional like coaching, group coaching community that you can join as well.
Right, and
Right.
that's a paid group, but the one at 7 a.m., that's free. It's a free
And that's on
20-minute call. On Facebook.
Oh, Facebook.
And then it was through that community that I learned about these lead gen communities. So the one that I joined, I mean, there are agents nationally on the call, and there's a whole bunch of different ones. So the one that I do just simply worked for my time, which is 9 to 11. That's what I wanted to carve out. But
So you need to
Yeah.
pay for that?
no, I do not pay for that.
Oh,
Nope,
okay.
nope. And there's a whole bunch of them at all different times. So through the James Shaw Facebook group, you can find one that works for what you want to do in your schedule.
Okay,
But-
so basically they just block that time just for all the agents want to join?
Yep, it's-
the
yeah.
lead gen.
And
It's
you're
it's
just sitting on a
Zoom call.
Zoom, but your camera's on, but you're muted.
Okay.
And you can see everybody else doing their lead generation, and then you're doing yours.
Oh, okay.
And it's just an accountability where you're sitting in a room where everyone is lead genning along with you. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
for
there's
her, it's
really
nice to see that.
What's that?
I said for you, that's what you needed to see when
Yeah.
you were struggling at that time, to see all those other people doing it.
Mhm. And then like on the call that I do, there's agents on there that are, big time, high producers and, newer. I think I'm probably the newest agent on my particular call, but, there's usually about 20 of us on every day. Just
Yep.
calling and
Whatever gets the job done.
through
that
the
Facebook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
through the
The
face
James-
James Shaw
okay, got it.
Facebook.
Yeah,
group,
yeah.
yeah.
But it's whatever gets you there.
Yeah,
Whatever gets
exactly,
it done.
yeah.
Yeah.
So talking about the lead gen,
Mhm.
so maybe give some, like, this week you have to you're gonna make some phone calls to people. What topics are you going to talk to them about on these calls?
Yeah, so last year I was, really trying to do the DT-D2, so that's, based on letters in the database, calling them. Those were more care calls, but I was struggling a little bit with that. So this year we talked about I'm taking more of a campaigns approach this year. So for Q1, my campaign is mini property reports. So I'm doing that through RPR, and it's, really just, what's your house worth, and then, the equity you have in your house, and here's why you should know. But so, I was doing the reports, sending everyone a text saying, hey, check your email box, I'm gonna be sending you this mini report, annual report, just good information for you to have, and then sending them reports and then following up with phone calls. So I'm gonna do a quarterly campaign approach so that to your point, that I have, because I did waste a lot of time last year thinking about, what am I gonna call and talk to them about,
Yes.
So for me, this year, it felt more simple to say, okay, I'm going to have a quarterly campaign, and that's going to be the calls that I'm making is all around that.
Okay, thank you.
Love that. Or if it was buyers or people who you knew that you met at open houses or things like that, it's more of a, just, have you found one yet? Are
Yeah,
you ready
so-
yet? You know, that type of thing. So more of a check-in
Yeah.
for any of those
so
people.
like today's lead gen was open house leads. So it was texting and calling the names that I got from the open house yesterday. Last year, another lead gen activity that I did was I did monthly giveaways with a lender partner. So he would sponsor the giveaway. I did the promotion, and I really solely promoted through different Facebook groups. So it was all digital, you know, and you know, promoted the giveaway. People filled out a reg form, and then I did an online drawing, and then I called
got
up.
about 20 per.
I would
right?
I'd get about 20 per.
For each one of those, she'd get roughly about 20 new contacts each month.
Yeah. So that that you know was to bring more contacts into my database, but I would call all of those people too. And then I actually changed my reg form on that too to ask if they had any real estate goals, and it was amazing. People were answering that.
People
so.
really answered that.
Mhm.
That was really
Yep.
cool. That
Yep.
that was a learning for me because I know that we talked about it.
Yep.
And we said, yeah, ask anybody if they know anyone. And we kind of threw it in there thinking, you know, people will skip it. And it was shocking how many people were like, you should call Mary, da, 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 da. And she'd be
Yep.
like, okay. And then she'd reach out and say, so-and-so told me you might have something. So it opened up a lot that way too.
Yep. So I haven't closed any transactions out of that activity last year, but I certainly got contacts into my database and I got
Yep.
appointments out of it. And actually, I'm hoping this quarter I'll get a listing out of one of those.
And what was
So-
your cost?
Well, nothing. It was just, it was my time.
Because the lender
'Cause my
sponsored
lender-
the gift card or whatever. So it was a
Yep.
no cost, averaged about 20 new leads doing it that way. So
Yep.
it was a very,
And Colleen would create my social posts, and then I just used the same Google form, and I would just copy it and change the image header at the top each month.
yep,
Thank you.
yep.
Can I piggyback off of that?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes what I do at this time of the year, because it's tax season.
Yeah.
And anybody that you closed on last year, I send them their closing statement and their taxes, and they love it. They're like, oh, this is beautiful.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah,
so
that's a
just
good
another
idea.
little-
Yep.
Another way to
That's a
touch.
good one. Yeah.
Yeah, another way
Because they
to
love it,
touch.
and they're like, oh, okay, I don't have to go looking for it.
Yeah.
Here
Right.
it is, and
Right,
everything
perfect.
that they need is there.
Yeah,
Yep.
I love that. Cool. All right, so these are some presents that you get for capping. So you may open it.
Okay.
I'll take these so you can hold. And then I'll kind of tell you about each one of them.
All right.
Because I like to locally source things. Whoop.
All right.
All right.
Aw, look at that.
So you get an official Caps t-shirt from coaching.
Fun. Look at that.
And on the back, Tony Robbins is apparently not the originator of that statement, but success leaves clues is what he's kind of known for. So
Awesome.
we have that. It was actually funny. I was trying to get sizes, so I Facebook messaged Ray, and then he was like, "Oh yeah." So I was talking to him, and there was a coaching call where I was showing you my Facebook messages, and I saw that he was in there, and I was like, "Oh my God."
I didn't see it.
She's gonna think I'm like, why is she messaging him? It was very right. I quickly on the Zoom was like changing my screen, and I saw my face went totally red, and I was like, oh my God.
That's
But I wanted to make
hilarious.
sure I got it. So all right, and this one is kind of fun. This is just something that you can keep looking at when you're having those Tuesdays that you can't do it. And it has her name and it says she capped. And what's cool about this is I have a client whose son got a 3D printer for Christmas, and he started making all these things. And he is a special needs child, and I messaged her and I said, could you do a trophy? And she's like, yeah, I think he can. And we started going back and forth, and I said, can you put her name on it? And yeah, and so they loved it, and it just lit up his world to have somebody like I was like, hey, I'm hoping to give a lot of business and be given a lot of these trophies from coaching. But,
that's so cool.
yeah, it's kind of fun to just have it, and little boy made that.
Awesome. I still
So-
can't wrap my head around this 3D printing. I mean, I've held these things. I'm like,
I know.
it still does not make
I
sense
know,
to me.
it's crazy. I mean, yeah, it's a little plastic, but he's like, do you like the swirl? I mean, it was a whole back and forth, colors, everything.
fun.
And
That's awesome.
he's like, I think he's 5th grade, something like that. So, yeah, so it's kind of fun. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for interviewing
Thank
with
you
us
for all your
today.
support.
Hopefully, those in the crowd, I'll be interviewing you very soon about the exact same thing, because that's the inspiration of it all. So, good job.
Awesome. Thank
Good
you.
job. Thank you.
I don't stand up to me.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
And thanks
you.
so much for coming and hearing her. There's that.